Do you want to be liked or respected? Because in life you rarely get both. This question might sound simple, but it strikes at the very heart of human relationships, leadership, and personal power. From the workplace to friendships, from family dynamics to politics, we are constantly pulled between the desire to be loved and the necessity to be respected. And yet, if you look closely at history, the people who stood the test of time, who shaped destinies and carved their names into legacy, were not necessarily the ones everyone liked. They were the ones others respected, even feared at times but never ignored. Niccolò Machiavelli, the Renaissance thinker, often called the father of political realism, understood this truth better than anyone. In his legendary work The Prince, he shattered illusions about morality, popularity, and approval. He taught that life is not a popularity contest. It's a battlefield of perception, timing, and strength. Machiavelli's insights are not just about kings and rulers. They apply to your daily life. Whether you're leading a team, navigating social circles, or even setting boundaries in your personal relationships, the balance between likability and respect determines how people treat you. And here's the shocking part. You may never be loved by everyone, but you can demand respect from anyone if you know the rules of power. Think about it. How many times have you tried to please everyone, only to feel invisible, overlooked, or even taken for granted? Have you ever softened your words, held back your truth, or allowed others to cross your boundaries just so they would like you? And what was the result? Chances are you didn't gain their respect. Instead, you lost a piece of your own authority. Machiavelli would argue that this is one of the greatest mistakes you can make, because the world respects strength, not endless appeasement. You've probably lived moments like this yourself, haven't you? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover may completely change the way you look at influence, leadership, and personal power. Machiavelli's lessons are not cold rules for ruthless rulers. They are timeless strategies that anyone can use to protect their dignity, establish authority, and live with confidence. His wisdom reveals why seeking to be liked often backfires, and why respect, once earned, becomes the foundation of real strength. The truth is, respect creates stability. It builds trust, even when people don't agree with you. It commands attention in a noisy world. And unlike fleeting approval, respect lasts. That's why Machiavelli's teachings are so powerful even centuries later. They force us to confront a difficult but liberating reality. Being respected is worth far more than being liked. What comes next may surprise you, because we're about to break down 8 of Machiavelli's most striking lessons, principles that reveal how to move beyond the shallow pursuit of approval and into the deeper, unshakable ground of respect. And as you hear these words, I want you to pause for a moment and think about your own life. How many times have you chosen to be liked instead of respected? How often did that decision leave you feeling smaller than you truly are? These are not abstract ideas. They touch the way you live every single day. And that's why your voice here matters. If this topic resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me about a moment when you realized that being respected was far more powerful than being liked. Your story may be exactly what someone else needs to hear, and together we build a space where real experiences and wisdom connect us all. And if this conversation speaks to you, if it challenges you or even sparks something deep inside you, I invite you to like this video. It might seem like a small gesture, but it helps spread this message to more people who are searching for the same truths you are. Every like tells the platform that this content matters. More than that, if you want to keep exploring these timeless lessons from Machiavelli, Jung, Nietzsche, and other thinkers who dared to tell us the raw truth about life, then subscribe and join this community. Each time you come back, you'll discover something new, something that sharpens your mind and strengthens your spirit. And your presence here, your engagement, is what gives this channel the power to keep growing and reaching further. So, stay with me, because we're only at the beginning of this journey. The lessons we're about to uncover will challenge how you see respect, authority, and power in ways you may have never considered before. Machiavelli believed that the pursuit of approval is one of the most dangerous traps a person can fall into. When you live to be liked, you hand over your power to the shifting opinions of others. Their moods, their judgments, their fleeting emotions begin to dictate your value. And the truth is, approval is fragile. It can be given today and taken away tomorrow. But respect, once established, has the power to endure. Respect is rooted in strength, in clarity, in the way you carry yourself even when others disagree with you. It is not about pleasing everyone. It is about standing so firmly in who you are that people recognize your authority, even if they never call you their friend. Think about how often people sacrifice their dignity just to avoid conflict. They nod when they want to say no. They agree when they feel resistance burning inside. They choose silence when truth is pressing on their lips. Machiavelli would call this weakness. And weakness, no matter how gentle it appears on the surface, invites exploitation. People who seek only to be liked become predictable, and predictability can be manipulated. Respect, on the other hand, establishes boundaries that protect you. It tells the world, this is who I am, and this is the line you cannot cross. It is important to remember that Machiavelli never said respect must come from cruelty. He understood that respect is built when others see consistency, decisiveness, and strength of character. Leaders who gain respect do so because they make decisions with conviction. They do not bend at every gust of opinion. They know that their role is not to be adored but to be effective. And isn't this true even in our personal lives? The people we look up to, the mentors, the figures who shape our mindset, are rarely the ones who always tried to please us. They are the ones who stood their ground, who lived their truth with unshakable certainty. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject because there is a hidden truth here. Approval gives you comfort, but respect gives you stability. Approval makes you feel good in the moment, but respect creates lasting impact. One is temporary applause, the other is a foundation you can build a life on. And here's the paradox. Sometimes, by not chasing approval, you end up gaining both. When people see you as strong, they may not always like you, but they will often admire you. And admiration, unlike shallow approval, carries real weight. So as we move forward, I invite you to reflect. Where in your life have you traded respect for approval, and what did it cost you? Write it down, and if you feel called, share it here in the comments. You can even leave a simple phrase like respect over approval to anchor this truth for yourself and to inspire others who are walking this same journey. Machiavelli understood something that still governs the way society works today. Perception shapes reality. People don't see you as you truly are. They see you as you appear to be. And for most, that appearance is the only truth they will ever know. This is why reputation becomes one of the most powerful tools of influence. It doesn't matter how hard you work behind the scenes, how noble your intentions are, or even how much knowledge you carry within. If the image you project is weak, inconsistent, or confusing, people will treat you accordingly. Reputation precedes you. It enters the room before you speak, it lingers after you leave, and it can either elevate or destroy everything you're trying to build. Machiavelli taught that a wise leader must carefully manage this outward image because people rarely dig deep enough to uncover the private reality. They make snap judgments, and those judgments stick. This might sound unfair, but it is also liberating because it means you have the power to shape the narrative. You don't need to reveal every detail of your private life. In fact, you shouldn't. Instead, you present a version of yourself that commands respect, authority, and confidence. Think of it like a stage performance. The audience doesn't need to know what's happening backstage, the chaos, the doubts, the struggles. What matters is what they see under the spotlight. And here's the hidden truth. Perception isn't about lying. It's about highlighting the qualities that will earn you influence and stability. When others see consistency, decisiveness, and strength in your image, they assume those qualities define you. Even if in private you wrestle with doubt, the perception of strength becomes your shield. And over time, that perception often transforms into reality itself because people treat you as if you are strong, and you rise to meet that expectation. Think about the impact this has in daily life. In your career, your reputation can open doors long before you ever get to speak for yourself. In relationships, how others perceive your boundaries will determine whether they respect or exploit them. And in leadership, perception often outweighs truth. People don't follow the most virtuous leader. They follow the one who appears capable, decisive, and in control. That is why Machiavelli insisted, guard your reputation like treasure. Once it is damaged, rebuilding it is almost impossible. Now, I want to go even deeper into this idea, because the real power lies not only in protecting your reputation, but in shaping it with intention. What image do you project to the world? Does it align with the respect you want to command? Or are you allowing others to define you through assumptions and half-truths? These are not small questions. They are the very foundation of how power, influence, and legacy are built. And if this resonates with you, leave a mark here by writing in the comments, "Reputation is power." One of Machiavelli's most overlooked lessons is the art of strategic distance. He understood that when leaders become too familiar, when they are constantly available, constantly seeking to be close, they lose the aura that commands respect. Overexposure makes people forget your value. The more they see you, the more they begin to take you for granted. It's the same principle we notice in everyday life. Scarcity creates demand, and abundance often breeds indifference. Machiavelli's insight here is timeless. Authority is not only about what you give, but also about what you withhold. Think about the people who have had the greatest impact on you. Were they always present? Always easy to reach? Always open to every request? Or was it their distance, their selectivity, that made their presence more powerful? When someone carries themselves with restraint, when they are careful not to overshare or overexpose, they become a figure of mystery. And mystery is magnetic. It invites curiosity. It makes others lean in. It creates an aura of authority without a word being spoken. Strategic distance is not coldness. It is not about pushing people away or isolating yourself. It is about managing your presence with precision. If you are everywhere, you are nowhere. If you say yes to everything, your yes loses meaning. But when you step back, when you choose carefully when and how to appear, your presence carries weight. People notice when you speak because you don't waste words. They value your time because you don't give it away carelessly. They respect your authority because you don't seek constant validation. This principle applies in leadership, but it also applies in personal relationships, careers, and even in how you show up online. A person who shares every detail of their life may get attention, but it rarely translates into deep respect. By contrast, someone who reveals only what is necessary builds a reputation of strength and control. It is the difference between noise and signal, between distraction and focus. Now here is the hidden truth. Distance is not about absence, it is about intentionality. You are not withdrawing from the world, you are shaping the way the world experiences you. When you master this balance, people wait for your words, they lean into your silence, and they respect the boundaries you set. Mystery creates influence, and influence creates authority. Now I want to go even deeper into this principle, because the real mastery lies in knowing exactly how much to give and when to step back. That fine balance between presence and restraint is where true power resides. If this insight resonates with you, leave a sign in the comments with the phrase, "Distance creates respect." Machiavelli knew that human nature has a dangerous tendency. People exploit what they perceive as weakness. Kindness, when offered without boundaries, often invites manipulation. Sympathy without strength quickly turns into vulnerability, and vulnerability without limits becomes an open door for others to take advantage. This is why Machiavelli insisted that strength must always come before generosity. If you show kindness without first establishing authority, your kindness will not be respected. It will be consumed, drained, and forgotten. But when strength is firmly in place, even the smallest act of sympathy carries enormous weight. Think of it this way. When someone who is always gentle offers you help, you may feel grateful, but you may also come to expect it. Over time, their kindness blends into the background, almost invisible. But when a figure known for their firmness, discipline, and power chooses to show generosity, that single gesture is remembered, respected, and valued. Strength creates the frame through which sympathy becomes meaningful. It is the boundaries that give kindness its shape. This is not about becoming ruthless. Machiavelli never glorified cruelty for its own sake. What he revealed was a hidden truth about influence. People follow strength, not softness. A leader who tries to win affection through constant kindness will be dismissed as weak, but a leader who first establishes authority and then strategically uses kindness will be admired and even feared. That balance between firmness and compassion is what creates lasting respect. Consider how this plays out in daily life. In the workplace, if you are always accommodating, colleagues may rely on you but rarely respect you. In relationships, if you give endlessly without boundaries, people may enjoy your generosity but fail to value it. Yet the moment you stand firm, draw clear lines, and show that your kindness is a choice, not an obligation, everything changes. Your generosity no longer looks like weakness. It looks like power under control. And here lies the transformation. Strength is the soil where true generosity grows. Without it, kindness becomes empty. With it, kindness becomes unforgettable. Machiavelli understood that a ruler's occasional act of mercy carried more weight than endless concessions because it was framed by authority. And the same is true for us today. Our moments of giving are respected only when others know they come from strength, not from fear of rejection. Now I want to go even deeper into this principle, because the real challenge is learning how to balance firmness with compassion in a way that builds authority rather than erodes it. If this resonates with you, leave your mark in the comments with the phrase, strength, before sympathy. Machiavelli believed that power is not only about strength or strategy, it is also about timing. He observed that many people fail not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack patience. They rush into decisions, speak before thinking, or act when the conditions are not in their favor. And just as often, others hesitate too long, paralyzed by doubt, watching opportunities pass by until it's too late. What sets a respected leader apart is the ability to read the moment, to wait with discipline, and then act with precision when the time is right. Respect grows when people see that your actions are not random or reactive, but carefully chosen with purpose. There is a truth hidden here. Timing transforms ordinary decisions into extraordinary ones. A word spoken at the wrong time may cause conflict, but the same word at the right moment can inspire loyalty. A bold move made too soon may look reckless, but that same move, executed when the conditions are ripe, creates admiration and authority. Machiavelli saw life as a chessboard, and timing as the difference between a wasted piece and a winning checkmate. The ability to wait, observe, and then strike decisively is what creates the aura of mastery. Consider how this applies to everyday life. In business, launching an idea too early can lead to failure, while waiting for the market to be ready can create success. In relationships, reacting impulsively to conflict often destroys trust, while responding at the right time can deepen respect. Even in personal growth, trying to force transformation without preparation leads to burnout, while moving at the right pace builds lasting change. Timing is not passive, it is active observation, a discipline of patience mixed with readiness. And here lies the paradox. Waiting is not weakness, but power in disguise. It is the silent strength that others often underestimate, until the moment you act with clarity and force. When you show that you are not ruled by impulse but by strategy, people begin to trust your judgment. They see that your moves carry weight, that your silence is deliberate, and that your action, when it comes, cannot be ignored. Now I want to go even deeper into this lesson, because the mastery of timing is not only about patience but also about courage. The courage to wait, and the courage to act without hesitation when the moment finally arrives. If this truth speaks to you, share it in the comments with the phrase, timing is power. Machiavelli warned that one of the greatest dangers in life and leadership is depending too much on others. Allies, partners, even well-meaning friends can provide support, but the moment your survival or success rests entirely in their hands, you've already lost control. He believed that respect is rooted in independence, the ability to stand strong on your own foundation no matter what. Relying too heavily on the goodwill of others or waiting for luck to shape your destiny makes you vulnerable. It signals to the world that your strength is borrowed, not built, and borrowed strength can be taken away at any time. Think about it. How many people waste years waiting for someone to open a door for them, to validate their worth, or to rescue them from their own inaction? They cling to external validation, believing that their value comes from being chosen, noticed, or approved. But Machiavelli would call this a dangerous illusion. Real power comes when you no longer need permission to act. When your confidence does not depend on applause and your decisions are not tied to someone else's approval, you step into a different kind of authority, the authority that earns lasting respect. This principle is not about isolation. It is not about refusing help or rejecting connection. It is about refusing to let your destiny be defined by the shifting loyalties of others. Allies may fail, luck may turn, and support may disappear, but if you have built your foundation on self-reliance, you remain unshaken. Independence is what allows you to use help when it is offered, but never be destroyed if it is withdrawn. In daily life, this lesson shows up everywhere. In careers, Those who rely only on a boss's favor or a company's security often find themselves powerless when circumstances change. In relationships, those who depend entirely on the validation of others live in constant insecurity, fearing abandonment or rejection. And in personal growth, those who wait for motivation from the outside rarely transform. But those who cultivate inner discipline, resilience, and the ability to act without waiting for approval create stability no one can take away. And here lies the deeper truth. Independence is not just practical, it is magnetic. People respect those who can stand on their own because it shows courage, discipline, and self-mastery. Even allies are drawn more strongly to those who don't desperately need them. By refusing to depend on luck, on others, or on endless validation, you project a strength that others cannot ignore. Now I want to go even deeper into this principle because true independence is not built overnight. It is forged in the decisions you make daily, in the discipline to rely first on your own strength before leaning on anyone else. If this resonates with you, write in the comments, "Respect comes from independence." Machiavelli was often misunderstood as a man who glorified cruelty, but that was never his true message. What he actually taught was something far more nuanced. Power must be used with wisdom, not recklessness. Harsh actions, when they are necessary, should never be done out of ego, anger, or cruelty for its own sake. They must be decisive, purposeful, and rare. A leader who abuses power constantly creates not respect, but resentment. Endless fear may control people in the short term, but it corrodes loyalty, weakens trust, and eventually leads to rebellion. Machiavelli's insight was clear. If you must act harshly, act swiftly and then step back, allowing respect to take root instead of hatred. This principle reveals a deeper truth about human nature. People can forgive strictness, they can even respect discipline, but they never forget cruelty that serves no purpose. The difference lies in intention. When strength is used to protect order, to establish stability, or to set an example, it is often respected. But when power is used to humiliate, to crush, or to indulge personal ego, it creates wounds that never heal. A wise leader understands this balance. Power must be sharp enough to cut when needed, but controlled enough to show that every action has meaning. In daily life, this lesson applies far beyond politics. In business, a leader who makes tough decisions for the health of the company is respected, even if not always loved. But a leader who punishes employees out of frustration quickly loses credibility. In personal relationships, setting firm boundaries earns admiration, while cruelty disguised as honesty leaves only pain. Machiavelli would remind us that respect is built not only by what we do, but by how and why we do it. There is also a hidden strength in restraint. Sometimes the most powerful action is the one you choose not to take. Knowing you have the power to strike but deciding to withhold it sends a stronger message than constant displays of dominance. It shows mastery of self, and mastery of self always commands respect. Those who use power sparingly with intention create an aura of authority that endures. And here lies the paradox. The more you abuse power, the weaker it becomes. The more carefully and wisely you use it, the stronger it grows. Machiavelli understood that authority reinforced by respect lasts longer than control fueled by fear. Fear may force obedience, but respect inspires stability. Now I want to go even deeper into this lesson because the greatest challenge is learning how to channel strength without letting it turn into cruelty, and how to act decisively without destroying the very respect you are trying to build. If this insight resonates with you, leave your mark in the comments with the phrase, "Power with Purpose." Machiavelli's final and perhaps most enduring lesson is that true respect outlives temporary approval. Approval is fleeting, bound to the whims of the moment, shaped by emotions that shift as quickly as the wind. But respect, earned through strength, discipline, and strategy, echoes long after the applause has faded. This is why Machiavelli's name is remembered centuries later. He was not adored, he was not universally loved, but he was impossible to ignore. His ideas were powerful enough to survive time because they carried the weight of truth about human nature and power. Think about the difference between those who are liked for a season and those who are remembered for generations. Popularity rises and falls like fashion trends. Those who seek only approval may shine brightly for a moment, but their influence fades as quickly as it came. Yet those who stand firm in their convictions, who lead with strength and strategy, leave behind something much greater than popularity. They leave a legacy. Machiavelli's own legacy proves this. He wrote truths that many found uncomfortable, even harsh, but those truths became foundations for political thought, leadership, and even personal development centuries later. In our own lives, the question becomes, what will remain when the opinions of others move on? Will people remember you as someone who blended into the crowd, always chasing approval? Or will they remember you as someone who stood with strength, who carried authority, who commanded respect even when it was inconvenient? A legacy of strength is not built overnight. It is built in the decisions you make daily, when you choose respect over approval, independence over dependence, timing over impulse, and power with purpose instead of cruelty. This is the hidden truth. You may never win the love of everyone, but you can earn the respect of anyone. And respect, once secured, becomes the foundation of your impact. It shapes how people speak of you when you're absent, how they recall you years later, and how your influence carries forward. Even in silence, respect continues to speak. That is why Machiavelli's lessons are not just about leadership or politics. They are about life itself, about the mark you leave behind when your voice is no longer in the room. Now I want to go even deeper into this closing principle, because leaving a legacy of strength requires more than authority. It requires wisdom, discipline, and the courage to stand apart from the need to be liked. If these words connect with you, write in the comments, legacy of respect. You don't have to be liked to win in life, but if you live with strength, strategy, and conviction, you will always be respected. That is the essence of Machiavelli's wisdom, and it is as relevant today as it was centuries ago. Approval can make you feel comfortable in the moment, but it cannot build stability. Respect, on the other hand, shapes the way others treat you, the way they remember you, and the influence you carry long after words fade. Think about it. How many people are liked, admired for a while, and then forgotten? And how many are respected, not because they pleased everyone, but because they stood firmly in their truth? Respect has a permanence that likability will never achieve. This is why your choices matter so much. Every day you're faced with decisions that reveal what you value most: comfort or conviction, approval or authority. Sometimes saying no earns you more respect than saying yes. Sometimes standing apart brings you closer to your true power than blending in ever could. And when you make those choices consistently, you begin to craft not just moments of influence, but a legacy that endures. That is the path of strength. That is the path Machiavelli illuminated. So now I want to bring this question directly to you. Which do you value more, being liked or being respected? Your answer matters because it reflects the mindset you carry into every part of your life, your work, your relationships, your journey of growth. Share your truth in the comments. Simply write "like" if you feel that being loved is your highest value, or write "respect" if you see that lasting authority is the true foundation of influence. Your voice is part of this community, and your choice can spark reflection for others who are walking the same path. If these ideas challenge you, if they resonate and awaken something within, then make sure to subscribe for more timeless wisdom. Each video brings forward the hidden truths of great thinkers, Jung, Nietzsche, Machiavelli, Kierkegaard, and transforms them into practical lessons for your own journey. And if you know someone who is caught in the trap of seeking approval, someone who needs to hear that respect is worth more than fleeting applause, share this video with them. Sometimes a single message at the right moment can shift a life forever. This is the power of wisdom carried across generations. Not to make us comfortable, but to make us strong. Not to make us liked, but to ensure we are respected. If you've made it all the way here, it probably means this message spoke to you on a deeper level. And that's exactly why I invite you to subscribe, so you don't miss the next lessons we bring. Lessons that carry the same weight and value as what you just heard. This channel is built for people like you, people searching for timeless wisdom they can actually apply to their own lives. I'd also love to know who stayed with me until the very end. Leave a comment with the phrase, "I'm with you until the end." It's a simple way to let me know you're here, part of this journey, and it helps me see the community of people who truly resonate with these ideas. And if this conversation connected with you, if you felt the power of it, a like on this video goes a long way. It shows me that this message matters, and it helps keep the energy alive between us. There's another video right here that complements what we explored today. Click on it and keep going with me. We're just getting started.